The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, we got a great live plan for you guys today. This has really been, truthfully, this is the live that people have been asking for me ever since last week when Demetrius Andrade vacated the WBO belt and decided not to fight Johnny Beck. You know, people have been wanting for me to speak about this in an extended manner, like only I can. So that's what this live is. I will have a lot to say. So if you're a pro Demetrius Andrade person, I mean, I'm pro Demetrius Andrade. You know, he's one of my favorite fighters and all that good stuff. But nobody is above criticism, and so if you can't objectively look at Andrade and you're just too much of a fanboy, please leave the channel. Please, do not watch this live because it is not going to be for you. Before we get into that, before we get into Andrade and him vacating the belt and what it means moving forward, programming reminder for you guys. Programming reminder. Not this Saturday, but this Sunday, we will have Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz. There will be a live fight reaction for that. I won't be on the live because I'll actually be in LA again at the fight come Sunday night. So if there's anybody in the Los Angeles area, in the LA area, who's going to be at the Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz fight and you want to meet your boy BT, follow me on Instagram. You guys can see it down below. The Instagram is down there below. The Twitter is down there below. Find a way to get in touch with me, and we will work something out, you know. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, you got the Cash App right there. The PayPal is right there, and then the Venmo is right there in the corner. So, you know, those are the ways you can help and get at me, and every way will be every which way will be appreciated. Whether you're donating, whether you're, you know, contacting me, I appreciate just anything that comes my way with this boxing thing, because, you know, there's a million boxing channels here. There's a million channels you guys could be, you know, watching and contributing to, and I'm glad that you guys are watching and contributing to mine because yeah, like I said, there's a lot of things you could be doing but watching True School Sports. So with that being said, and with that being established, let me just say this, all right? These are my opening statements, all right? These are my opening statements about Andrade. Now, before anybody, because I know on the playback, some of his fans are gonna come in here and they're gonna say I'm a turncoat and whatever, and they're gonna go crazy, right? But let me just take the time to remind you guys of who I am, all right? I am no hater. I am not one of these people that have thrown Andrade under the bus over the years. If anything, I've done everything in my power to lift him up and raise awareness to the great fighter and the great talent that I think he is. I'm the guy who pressed Canelo Alvarez just this calendar year in real life about fighting him. I've asked Eddie Hearns the tough questions about fighting him. So I've been the guy on the front lines for Andrade. But there's only so much time you can defend a guy before you realize, okay, you're singing the same tune and you don't want to be proactive. So I was sitting down, right? I was sitting down when he vacated the belt, and when I had time to think about what does this all mean? Like, who is Demetrius Andrade? What does it all mean? All that stuff, and I came to the realization that Demetrius Andrade is the Jay Electronica of boxing. Now, for those of you who don't listen to hip hop music or follow hip hop music, I'm a big. By the way, I'm a huge hip hop fan. So you know, you're not gonna know who Jay Electronica is unless you really know your hip hop music. But Andrade to me is the Jay Electronica of hip hop music, and I'm gonna be illustrating that and putting you guys on game as to what it is I mean in this live when it comes to this particular subject. Shout out to my main man, Ronnie. I see you, Ronnie. Rhode Island in the house, but Boo Boo is either making bad moves and he is hated on. Well, I don't hate him. I'm quite a huge fan of the guy, but I will say I hate this move of him vacating the belt. I can't begin to say how much I hate this move, that he's openly and outright, you know, ducking Johnny Beck, and it's ridiculous. You know, the Zach Parker fight would be cool, but he's ducking Johnny Beck. There's no two ways about it. But anyway, let's pivot into the main idea of this video. You know, shout out to everyone here. Make sure you smash that like button. It's the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Let me know what you guys think. You know, what do you guys make of Andrade vacating the belt and avoiding his mandatory challenger Johnny Beck to move up to 168 and fight Zach Parker for the interim belt? You know, this is the same situation playing itself out, but he waited so damn long to make this move. That's really where a lot of the criticism also stems from is how long it took him to actually move and make a decision. You know, But anyway, go on the screen share. So Demetrius Andrade is the Jay Electronica of boxing. Now, who the fuck? For those of you who don't listen to hip hop music, you may be saying, who on God's green earth is Jay Electronica? Well, Jay Electronica was a very popular rapper in the 2000s, in the early 2010s. When I was in high school, he was very popular. Jay Electronica is, as you guys can see by this article, he is one of the biggest what ifs in hip hop music because, Jay Electronica, he really was supposed to be the guy, much like Andre. He was supposed to be the guy that was supposed to take the mantle, like the where J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar are now. That was supposed to be Jay Electronica's spot because, in 2009, Jay Electronica released a very popular song called Exhibit C. And this song made a lot of waves in the hip hop community. And off the strength of this song, people were pretty much anointing Jay Electronica as the savior of hip hop. So much so to the point that Jay-Z actually wound up signing Jay Electronica. Right? He wound up signing Jay Electronica. Now, the irony in this is that, Andrade also worked with Jay-Z. Jay-Z had a role to play in ruining Andrade's career. Jay-Z had a role to play in ruining Jay Electronica's career. So I'm not off base when I'm saying this. I'm very on base when I'm saying this. But he's pretty much like an urban legend. I mean, this is a guy in Jay Electronica that, around that time, 2009, 2010, he had come out with like series of tweets talking about how pretty much, he had an album done, but then the album didn't come out for like years. Like the album never came out. The guy pretty much had his own fans waiting forever and ever and ever to put out a project. And Jay Electronica pretty much, for all the talent he had, for all the great things that he could do on a microphone, he never fully realized his potential as an artist. It was constant starting and stopping, pushing back the album, was pushing back the, just new music. And there were a lot of fans that anointed this guy as the savior of hip hop. Now, I'll raise my hand, and I've been a guy that's pretty much said that Demetrius Andrade before is the best fighter from 160 to 168. In some ways, you could say I've anointed Andrade the savior of the middleweight division, but he really didn't. He's never quite lived up to it. He's always been a guy that, for whatever the case may be, he continues to have all this talent. We look at Andrade. I mean, look, Andrade is extremely talented. Let's go back to screen share. Andrade is an extremely talented fighter. And I'm going to be all over the place, so guys, please bear with me. And Yobani Melendez says, what happened with your boy McKinson? He lost. Nobody thought he was going to win the fight. I didn't even pick him to win the fight. If you would have been here, Yobani, I had Virgil winning the fight by 9th round stoppage. He won by 8th round stoppage. I had Virgil winning by 8th round stoppage. McKinson went around longer. I'm just glad he fought him. My issue was never that McKinson could beat him or wouldn't beat him. I didn't care about the outcome. It was just that they would fight each other. You got it twisted, and you got your pennies in the bunch, and you came on my channel saying that, oh, well, you thought I was talking about whether he won or lose. I never made it about the result. I made it more so about the principle of Virgil having to fight him. So thankfully, Virgil fought him, and I don't got to criticize Virgil, but I'm glad justice prevailed with that one. But getting back to Andrade, right? This is a guy that, literally he pretty much was making history at a very young age. I mean, when we go back to Andrade back in his amateur days, this is a guy that he was the first American. Where is it? Yeah. Along with Rasheed Warren, Demetrius Andrade was the first boxer since 1999 to win international championships in the amateurs. He won the USA Amateur Championships, which is like the biggest thing you could win. It's one of the biggest things you can win. Not the USA, the world. He won the World Amateur Championships in 2007, which is like one of the biggest things anybody can win. And he looked like a surefire, blue chip, creme de la creme, top shelf fighter. So this is a guy that had high expectations on him placed from the get-go. I mean, after he won the the World Amateur Championships, it was expected of him that he would not only go to the Olympics, but that he would go to the Olympics and win a gold medal. Now, obviously, we know that hasn't happened because no male fighter from the USA in the amateurs has won a medal since Andre Ward, of course, the gold medal since Andre Ward. Nobody's won a gold medal that's a male American amateur since Andre Ward. Andre was no different. He lost a controversial fight to the Korean, this Korean fighter. But either way you cut it up, he was a top amateur. I mean, he beat guys like Charles Hatley, Keith Thurman multiple times. And he was really destined for stardom, really, right? So that was a big feather in his cap. So this, I guess you could say for Andre, like this was his Exhibit C. This was like what Jay Electronica put out the Exhibit C song. And then, right, then like after the Olympics, right, that's when really all the problems started because then like he didn't really sign with the biggest promoter coming out the Olympics, which is, you know, a lot of people say was due to his lack of having a good team around him, which you could even say to this very day, he still doesn't have a great team around him because they've made him, they've advised him to do stupid thing after stupid thing over and over and over again. Jay Electronica, right? He's known for Exhibit C. Demetrius Andrade, he's known for his amateur exploits. These are the two things that, comparatively speaking, have made these two guys, it's given them the reputation they have. One particular thing. It hasn't been a consistent body of work. It hasn't been a consistent thing. It's just been a song or a moment in time. But yeah, Jay Electronica, he's most known for squandering his career because this is a guy that, like, as you can see, I'll pull it up for you. Where is it at? Where is it at? There were tweets. See, I had it in front of me earlier. Now that I'm live, I'm blanking out a little bit. But pretty much, he had all these great like single songs in like 2008, 2009. He really blew up in 2010. And then for a decade, we just didn't hear much from him. We didn't see much from him, but we knew that Jay Electronica was one of the best lyrical rappers in the world. And it's the same thing with Andre. We don't really see much from him. We don't really hear much from him, but we know that he's one of the most skilled fighters in the world. We know that he is one of the most skilled middleweights out there. But what good is having skills if not applied correctly? What good is having talent if talent is wasted? It's like that movie The Bronx Tale said. The saddest thing in life is wasted talent. And you know, he ducked Johnny Beck. There's no two ways about it. I'm gonna stand on that square till I can't stand on it no more. Demetrius Andrade ducked Johnny Beck. This is the guy he ducked. Just in case you guys don't know what he looks like, just in case you guys don't know how to spell his name, this is the guy he ducked for years and years and years and years. All I heard, and mind you, I was on his side, so it's not like I didn't agree with him, but like Canelo Alvarez avoided Demetrius Andrade. We know this, and Jamal Charlo has avoided Andrade, and a couple other fighters have avoided Andrade. So a lot of people refer to him as the boogeyman. I refer to him as the boogeyman. But then when the roles reversed and he was no longer the B-side fighter, he decided to kind of big time Johnny Beck. And like I want to show you guys something. I'm going to show you guys two clips, and let me know in the comments if you guys can hear me or not. If the first clip I'm going to play for you guys is Andre calling out Canelo when he was in Johnny Beck's position, pretty much. All right, when he was the young guy on the come up, trying to make a name for himself. The first clip I'm going to play is him calling out Canelo. Then the second clip I want to play for you guys is him being asked about Johnny Beck, and listen to the difference in his attitude and his energy. Let's listen. Look, here it is. And by the way, all credit goes out to the Boxing Voice. Shout out to Ness. Listen, man, I got into an argument with Ness on the Boxing Voice last time I was there, and I gotta say, man, I might have to go. I might have to go on the Boxing Voice and apologize to him because Andrade has really proven people like myself who taken up for him very, very wrong. Shout out to everybody here, but let me know if you guys can hear the comments, if you can hear the audio, because I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it, but let me know. Oh, y'all can't hear it? I don't know why y'all can't hear it. It's like the volume is literally on full. Anyway, see, that failed. See that? You plan these things, you think it's gonna go smoothly, and then it don't go smoothly. Anyway, he pretty much called Canelo a bitch and said that Canelo should fight him and that Canelo ducked him. And then this clip over here, which was the most recent clip, he pretty much said no, he's not gonna fight Johnny Beck because Johnny Beck's not a big name, and Johnny Beck's not this, and Johnny Beck's not that. But last I checked, Johnny Beck was your mandatory. And you know what makes it even worse? I'm gonna tell y'all what makes it even worse. It's not just bad that he avoided Johnny Beck and he dropped the belt. It's the fact that Johnny Beck has literally been on a year-long verbal assault on Twitter. Like, if you follow Johnny Beck on Twitter, I don't know if he's the one, if Johnny Beck is the one tweeting the things that could come out from his Twitter account, or if it's somebody on his team that's doing it. But whoever is doing it, if it's not Johnny Beck, whoever is doing it needs a raise, because they get me excited about Johnny Beck. But Johnny Beck came out and he told you guys on April 18th, everyone says I'm the new Golovkin from Kazakhstan. I want to tell everyone that I am not the new Golovkin. I am Johnny Beck. I am Kazakh style. I have a different style. I have a different story. So he told you guys he ain't the new GGG. He getting out in front of you guys and letting you know straight away that I'm my own man. As great as GGG is, I don't want to be compared to GGG. But yeah, like he's been tweeting about fighting Andrade for like all over a year now. I started in May. But I'm gonna scroll up and I'm gonna show you guys, because I say these things in videos, but sometimes I know some people don't use Twitter and they may not be as familiar with what I'm talking about. So I want to show you better than I can tell you. Let me see. So he was tweeting before the Danny Dignum fight. By the way, shout out to everybody here. Make sure you smash that like button. So he tweeted on May 10th, as you can see right here. He tweeted on May 10th. He said, if Andrade is injured and doesn't fight at 160, he should vacate the title. Why does he still hold this title? I don't understand. So this was like right around the time when he had pulled out the Zach Parker fight, and he asked a question that I think was legitimate. Why did he just vacate it right then and there? Why did he waste everybody's time? Johnny Beck then, right? Johnny Beck then. He had more tweets after that, but you know, this is from around the Danny Dignum fight. You know, he had to fight Danny Dignum because Jaime Munguia declined to fight him for the interim belt. So Andrade didn't want to fight him. As we found out later on, Andrade vacated the belt, and then Munguia, he was the first domino to fall. Munguia was the first guy that declined to fight him for the interim belt, which is why he had to fight, you know, a very overmatched Danny Dignum. May 21st. Johnny Beck also says, today, follow my every move in the ring. It won't just be a fight. It will be art. After today's fight, champions will not only refuse to fight me, they will be afraid of all words that start with the letter J. And so far, that one's looking accurate, because Andrade vacated the belt, and now off the strength of that, Johnny Beck is your new WBO middleweight champion. And the crazy thing about it too is I interviewed Quantavious Cash last year about Andrade fighting Johnny Beck, and he sparred both of them. And he told me last June that this dude Johnny Beck was the real deal, and that a lot of guys weren't going to want to fight him. And so far, that's what it is. June 2nd, Johnny Beck says again, I hope my next opponent will be a world champion or a famous boxer. I want to knock out all the boxing stars. So that's what it is. Here we go. Johnny Beck again. I look forward to my full championship title. It would be even cooler if the champion agreed to fight me. So there it was there. Here we go again. July 27th, one of the most recent tweets. To be honest, I don't want Andrade to vacate the title. I want him to fight me. I want to knock him out. Being a champion without a fight is good, but knocking out a champion is better. And that's what it is. Listen, like, he's talking that cash shit. Like, whoever is running his account is getting me like gassed about him. I've always liked Johnny Beck. I've been following him since 2018, but like they're doing a great job of just talking that cash shit, which I like in boxing. He says everyone says champions can't make money from fighting me, but this is a mistake. Not only money, but they will lose their health, their name, and even their life. I understand them. They don't care about money. They just want to live, and soon, and the new. And there you have it. And then he even said, next year when I get all 4 belts, I will fight in the super middleweight division. So, you know, Johnny Beck, all about the smoke. Free smoke Johnny Beck, the guy that ran Andrade out the division. Now, Andrade's career, it's a really weird career to interpret. You know, self-production, shout out to him. He says, Jay Electronica is a good example. Two talented motherfuckers that never really had a chance to shine in their full potential. Well, that's not true. I agree with you on the first part. They're both very talented, but I wouldn't say that they never had their chance. Like Andrade has had his chances to push his career forward. He's been ducked, yes, but he's also, not giving himself the best chance to succeed. That's just telling the truth. That's telling the truth as a guy who supported him. That's being honest. Johnny Beck didn't look great against Hassan Bandam and went the distance with Vaughn Alexander. He went the distance with Vaughn Alexander like in his fourth pro fight. Bandam, yeah, I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed with the Hassan Bandam performance either. But the performance before that, he fought Rob Brandt, beat the brakes out of him, who's better than Hassan Bandam, and then he beat the shit out of Danny Dignam, who was ranked. So, listen, so far he's 12-0, 8 KOs. He's defeated 2 former world champions in Rob Brandt and Hassan Bandam. And that's just what it is, He's done what he needed to do to get to this point. Rico Ransom says, where is it? He says, I hate to say it, but Andrade fell into the Canelo spell. That's the only guy he wants, and Canelo don't want him. Andrade is killing his own career. And that's what it is. It's like, and that's the point I'm trying to get to, is like, you are trying to fight a guy who is not, in all honesty, Canelo Alvarez isn't just a fighter. The motherfucker is a brand. The guy is a brand, world brand, known name. Everybody and their mother wants to fight Canelo. So if you're trying to fight Canelo, you have to, of course, win all the fights you have in front of you. But not just that, you have to find a way to get the people to demand that you fight him. That's why the Golovkin, the third fight, even though us hardcores don't want to see the fight, the reality is there's a lot of casuals out there that want to see this fight. So because Golovkin in the past, whether it be based on the way he talked or promotion from HBO or the way he used to knock people out, he's done something along the way to get people intrigued. The latter also goes for David Benavidez and many other fighters. So what is Andre doing to separate himself and force Canelo to fight? I mean, Canelo should have fought when they're on this when he had a chance to go undisputed. I agree with that, but it's just, I'm to the point where it's like I like Andrade. I'm still gonna root for him when he fights Zach Parker, but I've checked out. I've completely checked out. It's literally like, as a hip hop fan, it reminds me of when Jay Electronica, when I was 14, 15 years old in high school, when he released Exhibit C, and I got excited about him, and I was waiting for new music, and then 1 year went by, and then 2 years went by, and then 3 years went by, and then he made a couple cameos, and then 4 years went by, and then before you know it, 10 years went by before he put out an album, and by then I didn't even care, and it wasn't even that good. So it's like the same thing with Andrade. Yes, Lobo champ. Yes. Yes, Jay Electronica. Yes. Exhibit C. He did an album with Jay-Z that was trash. We waited all that time for Jay Electronica to put out some music, and it was extremely, extremely, basura for what we had expectations for. Jay Electronica had the best control versus a popular opinion. I actually agree with you. That isn't a popular opinion, but I actually agree with you. What's my man? I saw 704 Joe. Where he at? Shout out to everybody here. Where we at? Where we at? Oh, I saw the comment. Yeah, it's really disappointing, man, because this is a guy, I swear, man. I used to go to the boxing gym. I used to watch his highlights and study his clips and try to take some of the things he could do and try to do it in the ring. Like, so this is a guy that I've looked up to as a fighter, as a boxing fan, and he really, really, in my humble opinion and perspective, has disgraced himself in the worst of ways in this case. He's given all the people who said he ducked Sergey Derevyanchenko, which he didn't, but all the people who said he ducked Sergey Derevyanchenko, he's given them ammunition. All the people he said he's ducked certain people, he's given them all the ammunition in the world. Straight up. Michael Ryan Pitts, what's up? God bless. Hope all is well. Yeah, the album wasn't that good. The album with Jay-Z wasn't that good from Jay Electronica. I was disappointed. He said the element of the title. It's the truth, though. It's the truth. It's literally, I feel like it's just like Jay Electronica is that dude. He's one of the most skilled rappers there ever was. Just like Andrade, probably one of the most skilled southpaws I've seen in my lifetime. But for whatever the case may be, whether it be politics, whether it be their own ultimate undoing, I mean, you can't say they're not alike. They both had Jay-Z helped ruin their careers. You know, Jay Electronica had it happen. Andrade had it happen. So if there was ever a rapper to compare Andrade to, it's got to be Jay Electronica. You know, Andrade is looking for the most lucrative fights in his career at this point, but he's always been that way. I think he's, with the exception of like Vanes Martirosha early in his career, he's always kind of been that way. That's why I feel like he's had a hard time staying consistent as far as like being active. That's what I think. But you know, that's just me. You know, I think at this point he's really setting himself up for a disaster of the highest order. Let me see. QC, what's good, champ? I see you. Hope all is well. Nix Figueroa, he's saying I should give Andrade an extra year. If he fights and beats Parker and then is able to get a foul Benavidez, Charlo, or Canelo, that there was a big fight. We are waiting. I mean, we've already been waiting for so long. I mean, like, how much? Look, he turned pro in like 2009. I think 2009, 2008. So he turned pro when I was like in the 8th grade. All right. I've been graduated out of high school for like 10 years now. Andrade still hasn't had a big fight yet. So like, how much more time do we need? Like, I understand maybe the politics haven't been on his side, but it goes both ways. Yes, they haven't been on his side, but he hasn't done himself any favors either. So it's like, he's a fantastic fighter. He's defended the belt. He's had 7 or 8 world title defenses over his career. He's been a dignified champion. I respect Andrade. I like Andrade. He's still one of my favorite fighters, but he is make no mistake about it. Until he does something of substance in a big fight, I'm referring to him as the Jay Electronica of boxing, because that's what he is. What's happening, BT? I've been a huge Boo Boo fan for years. I'm definitely disappointed that he vacated and out here making Chris Eubank videos. Hopefully, we'll get that big fight at 168. Have some faith, folks. Well, I'm first of all, I don't have any faith first and foremost because I just know that people in boxing, and when I say people in boxing, I mean like matchmakers. I know I'm talking about promoters. I'm talking about handlers. I know to begin with that they're not really eager to put their guys in the ring with Andrade. That's one part I do acknowledge, and I continue to acknowledge that. And also, Andrade doesn't fight enough. He's not fighting enough to force the demand. That's my issue. This year he's 34. He's gonna fight maybe once at that. That's not enough for him to really force these promoters and to create the kind of demand from the fans to get the big fights. I feel like if he would, I know he had an injury this year, but I'm just saying, like, if he were a guy that was routinely fighting 2, 3, 4, 5 times a year, he would have been. The demand would be a lot higher, a lot higher. You know, but maybe I should give him an extra year, but like I don't want to. To be honest with you, I don't want to. Because Johnny Beck earned his way to the mandatory position. He's had Johnny Beck waiting in limbo all year. Johnny Beck really wanted to fight him. And Andrade has been crying and complaining about how he can't get nobody to fight him. He gets somebody to fight him. And mind you, Johnny Beck's, people are always quick to point out that Johnny Beck was only 12-0, that Johnny Beck only did this and Johnny Beck only did that. But Johnny Beck's an Olympian. Johnny Beck can punch. He's got punch power in both hands. Johnny Beck's already defeated 2 current or former world champions. So it's like, you know, like he's 2 former champions, not current, but he beat 2 former champions. He beat Rob Brand, he beat Hassan Madam, albeit Hassan Madam was old, still a former champion. Andrade, you know, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Like, he hasn't beaten anybody like that in his career. He's beating good fighters. Like, don't get me wrong. He's beating some good fighters. He beat Willie Nelson, who stopped Tony Harrison. He beat Grady Brewer in his 14th pro fight when a lot of people thought that was going to be a fight for Andrade where he was biting out more than he can chew. But come on, man. MEZBX says Zach Parker fight at 168 leaves Andrade in a better position for bigger fights. If he beat Johnny Beck, where does he go from there? I'll wait. I've already explained what he should have did. He should have fought Johnny Beck as his last fight at 160. Beat him, shut the naysayers up. Like, shut them the hell up. Shut the naysayers up. You know, show the world that you could beat a guy like that. The win would have aged well because the middleweight division is so weak. Johnny Beck then would have went on to become world champion because he, with or without Andrade, Johnny Beck was going to become a world champion. So he would have beat a guy who would go on to become champion. Guy was an ex-Olympian. You know, a guy that a lot of people are saying that he's afraid to fight. He would have proven them wrong. He would have got a lot of respect from people because he would have had to have taken some short money to do it. But we can't have Andre don't want to do that. So it is what it is. It's his prerogative to run his career however he sees fit. Just don't ask me to be on board with everything he does. Because while he is one of my favorite fighters, I don't agree with everything he's doing. But yeah, I thought he should have fought Johnny Beck, fought Johnny Beck if he can beat him, which, by the way, I seriously question now, based on how he's acting. I question the hell out of if he could beat Johnny Beck. I don't know anymore. I used to pick him. Now I don't pick him. I just think it might be more than he could chew. But he avoided him. It is what it is. We can be honest here on True Schools. I can be honest with my favorite fighters. Andrade avoided him. Okay, he's fighting Zach Parker. Yes, it may leave him in a better position. Maybe. We don't even know. But it might. I personally think, and I want to give some credit to my man, Next Level Boxing Talk, because he did make this great point in one of the videos I made about Andrade. He said that pretty much if Andrade would have fought Johnny Beck, they would have fought on ESPN. So Andrade would have had more eyeballs on him than he's had in years. So that would have been a good feather in his cap. Robert Sanchez says, "Hey, BT, I'm late." And shout out to my man Robert out there in Austin. He says, "Hey, BT, I'm late, but do you consider Boo Boo's move a duck move, or do you think moving up to fight an equally dangerous fighter in that Zach Parker?" I'm not. Look, the Zach Parker fight is a good fight. I've gone on record many times and I'm staying consistent. I feel like Zach Parker and Johnny Beck are around the same level. Now, you can think Johnny Beck's better, but it's not by a whole lot. You can think Parker's better, but it's not by a whole lot. They both bring some challenges to the table, but my issue isn't about that. My issue is about principle, all right? It's about principle. How can you, for years, talk about being this boogeyman, being this avoided fighter, and then you get a guy who's an undefeated Olympian, mandatory challenger, beat 2 former world champions back to back. Everyone, a lot of people are saying that he'd beat you. It's looked at to be a competitive mandatory fight, and now that you're on the side that Canelo was on when you try to fight him, now you want a big time Johnny Beck. So it's no different. In my opinion, it's no different because someone in my comments in one of my videos, he said, "Oh well, Andrade didn't fight Johnny Beck because he has bigger fish to fry." So if Andrade has Demetrius Andrade has bigger fish to fry, and Johnny Beck isn't good enough for him, then I guess Canelo Alvarez had bigger fish to fry, and Andrade wasn't good enough for him. Straight up, I know. Listen, it's gotta keep that same energy. You gotta keep that same energy. MEZBX says you are fucking bugging if you think this boxing media would have given Boo credit for beating Johnny Beck with 12 wins. His 12, I mean, he's done more in his 12 wins than Jason Quigley did in his 30-something or however many it was. He's done more with his 12 wins than Liam Williams did. He's already has a better resume than both of his last 2 opponents. That is a fact. Name me somebody on Liam Williams or Quigley's resume who's better than Rob Brandt. I'll wait. I will honestly wait because I can't. I'm familiar with all these guys. That's right, Mac Bay. That's who he is. He's Jay Electronica of boxing. Jay Electronica. He came out with Exhibit C and he lit the rap game on fire. Everyone thought Jay Electronica was going to take over, and it's like Andrade. Andrade won all. He won the amateur world championships. He was the best fighter on the 2008 USA Olympic team. He won the Pan American Games. He beat all these top guys in the amateurs. But that's it. He beat some good fighters in the pros. He beat some good guys in the pros, live bodies. He didn't just fight all bums like everybody says, but pretty much he's the Jay Electronica of boxing. He's living off of reputation. That's just the truth. And I hate to say it. I'm not getting any sort of like joy in saying this about Andrade. Like, you guys think I want to sit here and admit these things? No, but it's the truth. I can't sit here and give people like Benavidez and Canelo and Earl Spence and all these other fighters shit. But then when it comes to a guy that I'm a huge fan of, I just let him off the hook because it's convenient. No, fuck that. It's called True School Sports for a reason. My brother, what would change your mind? What's the resolution? Well, what would change my mind is if that's a good question, actually. What would change my mind is if I guess, first of all, now that he's made this decision, if he loses this fight against Zach Parker, his career is going to be done pretty much because he could barely get fights with the belt. So I guess if he's not going to fight Johnny Beck, right, he's got to beat Zach Parker. So that's the first thing. The second thing after that would be to secure a big fight, which is why he's going up there. But my thing is, I feel like the fight made more sense now than it did earlier in the year because Johnny Beck's built up a little bit more momentum. People think that he would legitimately lose to Johnny Beck, and the fight would have been on ESPN, so he would have had more eyeballs on him than he's had in a long time. So for me, what would have changed my mind is if he would have just fought Johnny Beck, beat him, vacated, and then went up to 68, and then he could have went from there. But that's just my opinion. But I guess now he's got. For me, he can't just beat Zach Parker. Now, to answer your question directly, he can't just beat Zach Parker. He has to not only beat Zach Parker, but beat him in decisive fashion because we saw it when Andrade fought Jack Colque all those years ago. Jack Colque damn near beat him in Germany. It was a close fight. It was one of the hardest fights of Andrade's career. He found a way to win, so credit to him. He's a true champion for that. But he can't have a Jack Colque kind of performance in this fight against Zach Parker. I'm looking for like a statement, dominant performance. I need like Willie Nelson-esque, Jason Quigley-esque type of performance from him because my thing is this. If you can't go in there and beat up on Zach Parker in sensational fashion, then I don't think you have a leg to stand on when it comes to demanding the fights from the elites. If you're going to avoid Johnny Beck the way you have, because that's how it's going to be looked at, you need to go in there against Zach Parker, who I'll give Andrade credit in this regard. Parker is younger than Johnny Beck. He's taller than Johnny Beck, and he's bigger than Johnny Beck. So, and he's an improving fighter. So it's not like it's a bum fight like some people are going to say. It's just not. I don't think the Johnny Beck fight made more sense because he was the mandatory, and Johnny Beck's talking a lot of shit, and people think Johnny Beck could beat Andrade, and there's been a lot of chatter here on YouTube about that. So to me, it was a more interesting fight. But Zach Parker's a good fight. He's gonna have to go across the pond to the UK in hostile territory with the crowd against him, and he's gonna have to turn in I think for him to get those big fights, truthfully, in this fight, he's gonna have to turn in a virtuoso statement-like performance. So we'll see how it all develops. But for me right now, I'm gonna stand by the title of this video. For me right now, in this moment in time, he is the Jay Electronica of boxing. Now, M-Easy says that Rob Brandt isn't a big deal. Well, Rob Brandt is no A-level fighter, but Rob Brandt, you give him respect because this is a guy in Rob Brandt who went on the road to Japan, right? He went to Japan, and he beat Ryota Murata in his backyard. So you give a guy like that respect. I know Rob Brandt he's not Andrade, he's not freaking Canelo, he's not, an A-plus fighter, but Rob Brandt, honestly, is better than most of Andrade's resume, just being honest. I wouldn't say he's like in the top 2, but I think he'd be like, if you were to put Rob Brandt on Andrade's resume, he'd be like in the top 5 best fighters that Andrade would have fought. That's my opinion. Yeah, all the talent in the world, but just content with praise from top. That's what I'm saying. Like, he would rather be called ducked and avoided and then have guys that sparred him in the gym say, yeah, Andrade was the best fighter I ever sparred, than to actually go out there and prove it in the ring against top opposition, But then I guess people will say, well, BT, he's trying to put himself in a position to fight top opposition, but you want to hate on him, and I'm not hating on him. I'm telling the truth. I remember when I first heard Jay Electronica over that Nas, whose world is this? I was amazed. I was just listening to that in preparation for this live, that exact song, Whose World Is This? Great song. Same thing, though. Same thing. What does Andrade do after Johnny Beck? There is nowhere else for him to go but move up. Zach is just as good as Johnny Beck, if not better. I mean, I don't know, man. It's very debatable. I know I've used the Vaughn Alexander analogy in the past, and it's okay to use the Vaughn Alexander analogy because it's a common opponent, albeit, Zach Parker fought Vaughn Alexander in his 20-something fight, and Johnny Beck fought him in his like 3rd or 4th pro fight. So it is a little different, but I mean, this is the same Zach Parker, right? And I like Zach Parker, but just being honest about his career, this is the same Zach Parker that early in his career, he fought that one British fighter who, I can't remember his name right now, but he fought this British fighter on the World Boxing Super Series undercard. And he got like one of the biggest gift decisions of the century, like one of the worst ones ever, like in British box history. And the dude that the dude that everybody thought beat him was so distraught about the decision that he retired. It was that bad. This man is going to be a WBO Grand Slam champion. He's going to become the email world champion. Let's go. Yes. Probably. Andrade and Park had a press conference already. It's not a duck. Johnny Beck was a part of that press conference. The only reason that they had that press conference, I think that the Terror Squad, I think the part that you're missing about that whole scenario is the only reason that they had that press conference and that fight was allowed to happen was because WBO allowed him to go to 68 while keeping the belt at 160. Because the original plan was that Johnny Beck was supposed to fight Andrade as a mandatory challenger. Andrade wanted to go to 68. The WBO initially told him no, and then I guess Andrade negotiated with the WBO that he could move up to 68 and keep the belt, and then if he beats Parker, he can make a decision on if he wants to go to 60 and defend against Johnny Beck or explore a future at 68. So that's the only reason that press conference happened. Just to remind you, just to let you know. MAW, what's good, champ? He says hello. Yes, hello. Good to see you. Zach Parker is also a switch hitter who is faster than Johnny Beck and a better all-around boxer. I mean, I never said he was a bum. I've never said Zach Parker was a bum. I've never said that. I've actually went out of my way on this channel to tell people that Zach Parker has improved very much as a fighter, and Zach Parker might be doing his best boxing going into the Andrade fight. So I'm not downing Zach Parker. Zach Parker can switch hit. He's younger than Johnny Beck. He's taller than Johnny Beck. And he's longer than Johnny Beck. But it doesn't mean he's better than Johnny Beck. To me, this is a much harder fight than Johnny Beck was. But we don't know because Andrade didn't want to fight Johnny Beck. You know? We don't know. But for me, look, people want to talk about the politics and all that stuff. To me, that fight wasn't about, like the Johnny Beck fight wasn't about money. It was all about reputation. It was all about proving that you say that you are who you say you are. And to me, it would have been a big feather in his cap to fight Johnny Beck and beat him. Like you guys are talking about him putting himself in position with Benavidez, right? BT, he's putting himself in a position to fight Benavidez, everyone calls a monster. You can call Paul and confirm, but they want trying to make that fight. And I think they are, but my thing is this. You just gotta look at how things are. Like Samson Lukowicz, he's already told you that he's not interested in making that Andrade fight with the ridiculous demands they made for that fight. So to me, that's unrealistic. Benavidez is now all of a sudden talking about going to 175. And mind you, when I promise you, if Andrade beats Parker, or whenever that fight happens, somewhere around when that fight happens, Benavidez is going up to 75. So when Benavidez goes up to 75 and Canelo vacates the belt, is Andrade can't get fight at 68, then what? He may have gotten away from Johnny Beck now, but I'm telling you right now, he may have to come see Johnny Beck down the road because Johnny Beck said he wanted to go to 68. So Johnny Beck would chase his ass at 68. I believe it. Free smoke Johnny Beck. I believe he wants to fight Andrade really badly. Yeah, it did. It really did. It really did, man. It's unfortunate. Hold on. He says, y'all talk about Johnny Beck like he's some all-time great. No, I don't talk about Johnny Beck like he's some all-time great. I talk about Johnny Beck as like he was Demetrius Andrade's WBO mandatory, the guy that he backed out of fighting twice. The first time I didn't count, but the second time I'm counting. So I'm not talking about him like he's an all-time great. I'm talking about him like he's a WBO mandatory challenger, and I'm also talking about him like he's a WBO middleweight champion of the world because Andrade didn't want to fight him. That's how I'm talking about him. I'm talking about him as if he's a former Olympian for Kazakhstan. I'm talking about him as if he just beat two former back-to-back champions, former champions back-to-back, I should say. Let me see. BT, I find it hypocritical that Demetrius Andrade called out Canelo supposedly for ducking him, but he's doing this. He's doing the same shit to Johnny Beck. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. Hyro, shout out to Hyro, and make sure you guys show your appreciation in the comments for Hyro. He's the guy that puts together all those compilations with the music and the audio clips of me talking of the fighters. So we just had one today drop of Terrence Crawford. There's another dropping tomorrow of Earl Spence. He's the one that did the compilation of Bivol and Tony Harrison and Broner. That's all him. So give him his show your appreciation for him in the comments. But bro, Zach Parker him at a press conference. Damn, can't even promote the damn fight on social media. Damn. RR1000 says True School. Shout out to RR1000, very loyal viewer of the channel. He says, do you think Devin got dissed by Ring Magazine for not being on the pound list? I got a video coming out on that soon. Yes, I do actually. I understand that not everybody likes Devin's style, and the argument you can make is that Devin Haney just now started fighting good people really good people over the last couple of years, but he's the youngest undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. Like, what more do you want from the kid? Like, you can't. Like, here's my gripe with Ring Magazine, right? You can't on one end say that Lomachenko and Inoue are these great fighters because they won a world title in X amount of fights and scaled weight classes X amount of fights. But then when you get a guy who goes on the road, much like Usyk has went on the road, he goes on the road, wins all the belts on foreign soil. All of a sudden, we're not keeping that same energy for Devin Haney. I have an issue with it. Devin Haney has showed, whether you love him or hate him, he showed that he has the willingness to go to any country. He'll even sign a contract that's unfavorable to him to make the fight happen. He's shown you that he'll fight on all different types of networks, whether it be DAZN, Showtime, or ESPN. He's fought on all those networks. He's the only fighter around those weights that you can say has fought on all those networks. So he definitely deserves to be on the pound for pound list. I'm not saying he got to be top 5 pound for pound, but he at minimum in the lower top 10 for sure. Ghost says, BT, how there have been Johnny Becks. Hold on, man. BT, there have been Johnny Becks. This computer's being slow. In his career before. I get your side, but they say others would have beat him in the past. What happened after he beat those guys? Which guys were Johnny Becks? Who? Liam? Name me the Johnny Becks. Name me. I want you to name me another fighter in Andrade's career who was a mandatory challenger for 9 months plus, over 9 months. Name me a guy who was Andrade's mandatory challenger for 9 months, who the 2 fights before being mandated to fight Andrade, beat 2 former world champions back to back, who was a high level Olympian and world level amateur, who also is trained by a world class guy like Buddy McGirt. Name me a fighter that fits that bill that was a Johnny Beck in his career, because I don't know any. Straight up, I don't. 160 to 168 fighters annoy the most in boxing. Benavidez, Andrade, Charlo, and even Canelo at times. Yeah, this weight class has passed 135, because at least now with George, thank God for George Kambosos who came here and started fighting people, because without George Kambosos, I still think we would have Devin, Tio, Ryan, and Javante just on social media talking about fighting each other. That never happened. So because of George, things started to move at 135. But 160 to 168 is just an absolute shambles. That's why I like 175. We ain't trying to see Andrade versus Johnny Beck. Andrade wanted big fights. Charlo, Canelo, Munguia, and Gigi. So you wanted to see Andrade fight the guy another guy that ducked Johnny Beck. You wanted to see him fight Munguia. I mean, that ship's been sailed. I did the interview with Golden Boy just last year when Golden Boy president Eric Gomez said, pretty much, we not fighting Andrade. Chris Eubank, another Roy Jones said he's not fighting Andrade. I'm all about the fights that can actually happen, not these hypothetical, mythical matchups you guys have in your head. These guys aren't going to happen. These fights aren't going to happen. BT, you are capping. I'm not capping. I've always wanted to see Johnny Beck versus Andrade. Why stay at 160 and beat Johnny Beck? See, and that's my issue, right? Everyone's just saying, why stay at 160 and beat Johnny Beck? Like as if it's some foregone conclusion. Okay. If it was such a foregone conclusion, then why don't you just do what you did to Jason Quigley to Johnny Beck? Why don't you just do it? Why don't you just beat Liam Williams like you beat, and do that to Johnny Beck? Like, come on. Like, I don't think Andrade could be. Honestly, I'm going to say it. Yeah, like Andrade has convinced me. Andrade and the Andrade fans, the fanboys, y'all convinced me he can't beat Johnny Beck. I'm gonna say that until he fight Johnny Beck. I'm gonna until he actually get in the ring with Johnny Beck. I don't give a damn. Andrade can't beat Johnny Beck. Straight up. There's something that he saw that he didn't like. You can say it was the money, but shit, I bet you if he was If he was like a Luke Keeler, he wouldn't care about the money. He just fight him because it'd be easy money, but it ain't easy money. He said golden rule, risk versus reward. I mean, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking. It's the principle of the matter. This guy talked about being the boogeyman for years, and he has been avoided. But he is now doing the same thing that other fighters did to him. So to me, he's no better than Charlo or no better than Canelo. Canelo's forgiven. He got exposed by Bivol, but he's forgiven. Like, because Andre wants to act like Canelo when he gets put in that position. Who the fuck was Andre gonna fight after he beat Johnny Beck at 160? I just told you, you beat Johnny Beck on ESPN to solidify the run at 160, and then you vacate and move up. Why not fight Zach Parker after? He's so good, right? Like Andre said, this great fighter, right? Why don't he just beat them both? Since Johnny Beck ain't that good, right? And Zach Parker is supposedly better, right? Then he could just beat Johnny Beck because Johnny Beck's a C-class bum, and then he can fight Zach Parker, who he's better than, and then he can get the big fight. What's so hard about that? Since Andre is this great fighter, right? Rocky Austin says, and shout out to my main man. I don't know what the fuck this dude from Russia is saying, but I respect it. It looks like he's going off. My man's talking that he's talking. Hey, can someone? Hey, if anybody knows Russian or whatever the hell this is, can someone translate what the hell this guy's saying? If he's saying nice things or if he's cursing me out, someone let me know. Rocky Austin says Andre knows himself that he has no chance of beating a killer like Johnny Beck. Dudu Andre has the worst boxing resume ever. I wouldn't go that far. He's got a better resume than some guys. You know, he's fought good fighters, but he's on some bullshit. You capping, homie. Andre wanted bigger fights. Once he beat Johnny Beck, then people would have said Johnny Beck is a nobody, but he's not a nobody. Anybody who knows boxing knows he's not a nobody. And you're making an assumption. Like for me, I've always said this about any fighters. I don't talk about assumptions and what I think will happen. To me, fights are won in the ring. So, like, you know, no matter how much better you think one guy is than the other, it has to be proven in the ring. If not, then it's just all hearsay. Bypassing Johnny Beck to move up is the same as Canelo ducking Boo Boo. It is. It's the same shit, bro. It's literally the same thing. Because Canelo ducked Andre for undisputed, right? That was one occasion. But, like, okay, after that, last year, when Andre pulled up to the Saunders weigh-in, and Andrade was calling Canelo out, and Canelo said you're a horrible fighter, all that stuff. They weren't in the same weight class. Like, they literally were not in the same weight class, and Canelo big-time Andrade because he was in the lower position. So in that scenario, it's the same shit as ducking Johnny Beck. Because Canelo Alvarez is the biggest money-making attraction in boxing, and Andrade is a guy in another weight class that he doesn't fight him with the belt. So technically, it's the same thing. And I don't like saying that because I like Andrade more than Canelo, but it's the truth. Danny Dignam and Rob Brandt yawn like Boo Boo couldn't have smoked those dudes. No, he would have. He would have beat all those guys. But it's better than let me see. Who did Liam Williams beat before Andrade? Alontes Fox and Shea Mosley. You know, Liam Williams beat Alontes Fox, and Jason Quigley beat Shea Mosley Jr. in a very close fight that some people thought he lost. So I don't know, man. Hassan Mandam, Rob Brandt. You know, I think Rob Brandt is better than Shane Mosley Jr. And I think Rob Brandt's also better than what's his name? Alontes Fox. But that's just me. Johnny Beck would have smoked Andre. Well, hopefully one day we get to find out, because I'm gonna tell you this, man. Middleweight's in shambles. Johnny Beck he'll probably unify the titles, winning 2 vacant belts. Like he has WBO already. I'm sure Golovkin will vacate soon, and I'm sure Charlo will vacate soon. He's going to probably pick up another vacant belt after this. He could probably defend it like 2 or 3 times if he wants to. But listen, who's to say he don't move to 68 and use his status in the WBO to try to get the Andrade fight? It's possible. Yeah, like, look, if they would have fought, if he would have agreed to the fight, I would have picked Andrade. But like the blatant avoiding of Johnny Beck is getting me to the point where I'm like, man, maybe he doesn't think he can beat him. This is the same Johnny Beck that went the distance with Von Alexander 2 weeks. A lot of guys go the distance with Von Alexander, you know? It was his 4th pro fight, but I get what you're saying. Zach Parker did look better against Von Alexander. He stopped him in 2 rounds, so I get what you're saying. A year ago, his father didn't like the idea of moving up because they, oh my God, Hyro, you're so right. You are so right. Oh my God. Wow. I completely forgot about that. Yes. Yeah, last year when I did that live last year when I called Paul Andrade while I was live and I was talking about Andrade going to 68 because he couldn't get fights and Johnny Beck wasn't even a thing yet. And I remember he literally said that we wouldn't go up to 68 because they don't have a belt. So now they vacated the only belt they vacated the belt they had to go to a weight class where they don't have a belt. So yeah, it's a contradiction. It's a massive contradiction. Great point, Hyro. Let me see. Not for the faint heart. Shout out to him. He says, what would Boo Boo have gotten if he would have fought Johnny Beck? A $200,000 paycheck. Get the heck out of here with this Johnny Beck dude. How about some credibility and some motherfucking respect? That's what he would have gotten. If he would have fought him, fighting Andre being known as a high risk, low reward guy, fighting another high risk, low reward guy who just happens to be his mandatory, who people thought he would lose to, that would have given him some credibility and respect, and he could have built off of that. That's how I'm looking at it. But, you know, y'all want to play accounts, so it is what it is. Yeah, this Russian dude, man. This Russian dude is going off. I want to know what this. Can someone tell me what this Russian dude is saying? This Russian dude is he's talking some cash shit. I don't know what none of this means. I'm not even sure if this is Russian, but he's typing his life away. We are in a day and age where people are quick to shit on fighters taking L's. Never forget the golden rule: risk versus reward. Well, I'm not those people, but I understand. To me, honestly, I don't even look at Demetrius Andrade as an undefeated fighter anymore. He lost to Johnny Beck because he ducked him. It is an L. Until he goes and he fights him and defeats him, it's an L. He's not an undefeated fighter. So, like, if he retires undefeated, I'm not going to say he retired undefeated. I'm going to say he lost to Johnny Beck because he turned on the fight twice. Let me see. Someone said he just typing for the sake of typing. Is he really? Well, we're going to get him out of here. This Russian dude's grinding my gears a little bit because I don't know what he's saying. And it seemed like he just typing for the sake of typing. So, shout out to you, champ. Shout out to you, wherever you're at. BT, I always wanted to see Lara versus Andrade. Another one. It's another one. Good fight. A lot of people thought he ducked Lara. You're giving this bullshit boxing media too much credit if you think they would have praised Boo for beating Johnny Beck. I mean, I'll tell you, I think they would have given him more praise for beating Johnny Beck than they would have given him praise for beating Liam Williams and Jason Quigley and Luke Keeler combined. You know, I would have at least. I can't speak for. I would have at least. And I know there's quite a few boxing fans that would have as well. But I guess you know he's entitled to do what he wants. He's entitled to move as he sees fit. I'm not against it. I'm not against that. But just understand that I don't gotta agree with everything he does, and just understand that he is the Jay Electronica of boxing. You know. BT, you should do another interview with Paul Andrade soon. Oh yeah, that's coming. I'm gonna call him. I gotta call him soon because, truth be told, I haven't talked to him in a while, and I gotta tell him straight up, like, look, I support you guys. I want Andrade to be the best he can be and prove to the world that he is who I say he is. But I can't cap for you guys. I can't cap for any fighters. It's a duck. Boo Boo pulled out of the Parker fight and wanted to fight Chris at middleweight and never acknowledged Johnny Beck and then vacated the belt and went back with Parker. That's exactly what happened, Polo. That's exactly what happened. And then the crazy thing was when I told you guys he was wasting time calling out Chris Eubank, you guys said, well, how do you know that, BT? And I'm like, well, because Chris Eubank don't want to fight middleweights. He want to fight welterweights because he spent the whole year calling out Kell Brook, Connor Ben. And plus, Roy Jones even told me himself when I interviewed Roy. Roy said that Andrade isn't an option for us because there's no money in it. So the Russian is calling you ignorant. Is he really? Well, I blocked his ass. He can't whoop me. He would never say that in real life. Can't whoop me. Let me see. Top Rank would have gave him credit. Yeah, Top Rank would have gave him credit. It's clearly about financial reasons. Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. To me, honestly, look, we've spent so much time talking about money when it comes to these other big fights. At this point, I just want to see Andrade do something. And it's not, listen, you're wrong. Free Hoover, you're wrong. I mean, maybe with other people, maybe with a lot of boxing fans, that's the truth, but that's not the truth with me. It's not about being you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, because I've given him credit for the Luke Keeler win because he fought Luke Keeler coming off of Luke Keeler's biggest win against Arias. I gave him credit against Alontes Fox because Alontes Fox had to become the first guy to, or Liam Williams, I should say, Liam Williams to become the first guy to stop Alontes Fox. I've given him credit for his career. I've given him credit for his wins. I've never put down his resume. I've always made it a point to say that Andrade has been a dignified champion, and he's shown that consistency you want in a fighter so far as his performances. But man, we finally get a mandatory that we're excited about, and on 2 occasions you don't want no smoke. I mean, come on, man. Like, how else? What do you want me to do? Say it's a great move? It's not a great move. BT, do you remember when Andrew was supposed to fight Dusty Harrison? Yeah. How come he was gonna fight? How come he was gonna fight Dusty Harrison, but he wasn't gonna fight Johnny Beck? I'm very sure. I'm like extremely sure when Andrew was gonna fight Dusty Harrison in that 10-round fight in Hollywood, Florida, right here in my hometown. He wasn't gonna get a whole lot of money for that. But you know what? You want to know why it wasn't an issue for Andrade? Because Dusty Harrison can't beat him. But it's an issue for Andrade because Johnny Beck can beat him. So it's different. Andrade versus Parker, who do you got? Shit. I'm going with Andrade just because, like, he's one of those guys. Like, I kind of class him the same way I class Tyson Fury. I'm not going to pick against him until he actually loses. Like I just believe in the guy's skill set so much that it's hard for me to pick against him. But to be honest with you, it's really not shaping up to go well for him. If that fight is close, he's getting robbed in the cards, which is why I'm so adamant about him having a virtuoso dominant performance. Because if it's anything short of that and it's a close fight that's left up to interpretation, he's gonna get robbed. There is no way he's getting a decision in England on a Frank Warren card against Zach Parker. Zach Parker already got one of the worst decisions in the history of British boxing when he lost to Darrell Williams, the kid Darrell Williams early in his career. Go look that fight up when Zach Parker fought Darrell Williams, one of the worst robberies in British boxing. So he's already been the beneficiary of bad decisions. You don't think that they'll do it for Parker if he's fighting Andrade? Come on, man. Let's be real. BT, you are in the minority in terms of boxing fans who keep it honest. How many other people gave him credit for Sulecki, Vanes, or even Jack? None. Nobody ever gives them credit for those wins. When you try to tell people that, hey, you know, Sulecki is a much better middleweight, people think, they laugh at you. When you talk about Vanes, you know, who gave Laura hell and was a USA Olympian and a top contender, they just say, well, Andrade got dropped and Vanes got robbed, which isn't even true. If you watch the fight, Andrade won the majority of the rounds after the knockdown. But you're right. Johnny is a problem because multiple guys are turning down for the interim belt and a chance to be full champion. He will be unified so quick. Man, Johnny Beck might fuck around and become undisputed in like 6 months. That's how bad middleweight is, and that's how crazy the politics are swinging in his favor. So take Keeler off his resume, put Arias and take Williams off his resume, put Tony Harrison. Why don't Andrew get credit for being 20 Harrison like Jamel did? Well, he doesn't. He didn't fight Tony Harrison. He fought the guy that beat and knocked the fuck out of Tony Harrison. He didn't beat Tony Harrison, but I see what you're saying. But he beat those guys when they were coming off of those wins. So he beat the most determined, most conditioned, most motivated version of those guys that will ever exist, and he beat him easily. A lanky lefty. Andrade is known to every gym on the East Coast. He's not. We know, yes, of course. He's no, listen. Andrade used to do some of his camps. He spent a lot of time here in Delray Beach, Florida, which is like in the northernmost part of South Florida. So like people in the South Florida box community know Andrade. He's got a reputation here. He's got reputation in Vegas, New York. He's a great fighter as far as his talent's concerned, but you know, you gotta show it in the ring, and he just hasn't done it. And listen, I hope I'm crossing my fingers. You know, I'm hoping that I could look back on this live and these times and laugh my ass off and say, hey, Andrade, you know, proved to be who I thought he was. But right now, it's not looking so good. Shout out to my man El Mario Boxeo. Let me see. Shout out super chat. So we got our first super chat of the live. You guys know the drill. When the super chats come out, so does Don King. So Don King, don't waste no time. Go ahead and talk to him.
Hey everybody, let's have some fun. You don't live but once, and when you're dead, you're done. So let the good times roll. It don't matter whether you're young or old. Let the good times roll.
We will here on True School Sports. Shout out to my man El Mario Boxeo with the $1 super chat. We appreciate you. Hustleman says you got to do a video on Inoue versus Fulton. They saying Inoue wants Fulton after Butler. I've already done a video about it. It's scheduled to come out, I think, tomorrow. So it'll be out tomorrow. There's a whole slew of videos that are going to be coming out from tomorrow through Wednesday. And I'm taking there won't be any live tomorrow or the day after. I'm taking 2 days off because I'm burnt the hell out. I've been running around LA, been home, haven't really rested a whole lot since. So I need 2 days off. But yeah, there'll be that video will be out tomorrow. Andre really ducked Johnny Beck. He could have tied the record for the 6th defense with Lonnie Bradley in the WBO 160 histories. There you have it. He could have made history. So here's what it is. Even if Zurdo beats Bivol, Canelo says he does not want to fight Zurdo. What are your thoughts? He said that in an interview. Well, hey, Canelo Alvarez, he said it many times that he doesn't want to fight other Mexican fighters because he feels like he's a representative of Mexican boxing. But listen, that's that bullshit. That's some straight bullshit. If Zurdo beats Bivol, naturally that's the fight he should be talking about next. But he don't want that fight because Zurdo will punch his freaking head off. You don't want that smoke. You don't want to fight Zurdo Ramirez, the real Mexican, the defender of Mexican boxing. Yes, sir. That's bullshit. If Zurdo beats a guy that just schooled the living shit out of you, and he's Mexican, why not make the big Mexican super fight? Stupid. Why ain't no one calling for Fulton versus MJ Akhmadaliev? Because it's the same reason that nobody's calling for Inoue versus Paul Butler, even though it's happening. It's not looked at to be a competitive fight, even though MJ Akhmadaliev is a solid fighter. We want to see Fulton versus Inoue. BT, after Phillip versus Zhang, can you finally admit that Shaw has a shot at beating Phillip at the very least? He had a shot before that fight, but yeah, he has a shot. It all depends for Stephen Shaw if he comes into shape. That will be the ultimate determining factor of what kind of chance he has. But listen, I'm calling for Stephen Shaw to fight Big Baby Anderson. If the Hrgovic fight ever makes sense, make the fight happen. You listen, if you think that Hrgovic is going to come to the ring and fight that kind of fight again after that kind of experience against Zhang, you're greatly mistaken. Whoever he fights next, I don't care if it's Joshua, whoever, they're getting iced next. I hope. I can't. I'm literally chomping at the bit for Hrgovic's next fight to get announced. You're out of your mind. You are absolutely out of your mind as far as him being better everywhere. That's your boy. Hrgovic is my boy too, but I'm not delusional. I think Shaw has a chance to, in the early rounds, outbox him. But at some point in time, Hrgovic, when he starts working behind his jab and he gets that right hand going, Shaw's going to get hurt and he's getting starched. Johnny Beck said he doesn't want GGG because he don't want to fight his countrymen. Same shit. That's like the most corny thing in the world. People and you know what? It's a double standard. Charlo and Andre aren't fighting each other, and they're both Americans, right? They're both American fighters, but nobody's saying, well, it's okay because they're both Americans. But when Johnny Beck says it about Golovkin and when Canelo says it about Zotto, it just gets swept under the rug. Keep that same energy. What's Andre's promotional situation, if you know? Well, now he has Demetrius Salita working on his behalf. So Salita Promotions is that's who he's with now. That's where it's gotten to now. Maybe now that he's on Salita Promotions, maybe he can get some fight dates. He can start fighting on Showbox every other month. That would be better than sitting around and doing nothing. Oh my God. Yo, Ghost, you're gonna be so ridiculously disappointed if they ever fight. I feel bad. I actually feel bad for you if they ever fight. Stephen Shaw don't got a better right hand than Hrgovic. Stephen Shaw maybe has a better jab than Hrgovic only because he throws it more. He don't punch harder than Philip. His right hand ain't better than Philip. And from what I've seen, because I went back and I watched some of his fights, he ain't a better fighter in the second half of a fight than Philip. No way. He's getting starched if they fight. Canelo is not going back to 174 anytime soon and to fight those elite light heavyweights. I see Canelo fighting Demetrius, not because he's 34. You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe Canelo winds up fighting Andrade because at this point, Andrade is not going to be what he was 5 or 6 years ago when the fight was initially a thing. And he might just feel it's a safer option. Who knows? I mean, it might be a safer option to him fighting Artur Beterbiev. I think it would because Artur Beterbiev, that man ain't no joke. 11 guys turned down Hrgovic. Yes, that's what I'm saying, man. Y'all saying all these guys can beat him, and these motherfuckers won't even fight Hrgovic. 11, like, I don't know if it was 11, but it was a lot. It was like 5 or 6 at least. Sanchez needs to get in the heavyweight. Yeah, Frank Sanchez, very underrated. He needs his shot. I kind of question like with Frank because I believe he's with a PBC heavyweight. I kind of question like how many fights could they really make for Frank, being that he's like a PBC guy. Johnny Beck said he respects elders from his culture. That's that ridiculous. They should be fighting each other. Like if Golovkin loses to Canelo and he come out to 60 and he want to still have that belt, he should be trying to do a big fight with Johnny Beck in Kazakhstan. I don't believe in that type of stuff. Otto Wallin, Frank Sanchez, Dubois v. Hrgovic. The only guy of that bunch that you named I think could be Hrgovic is Frank Sanchez. They all have a chance, but the only guy that I would actually pick to beat Hrgovic is Frank Sanchez. Dubois will get starched because his defense is still too leaky. He can't defend the right hand. Otto Wallin, very good, but just I don't think has the power to hurt Hrgovic. But has the gas tank to take him 12 rounds. So, I would say Frank out of that bunch has the best chance, but the other two get starched. Oh my God. Big Baby Anderson is like Riddick Bowe. Stop that. Big Baby Anderson is nothing like y'all. Like I like Jared Anderson, but this whole like Riddick Bowe, he's like Riddick Bowe. Listen, this whole like Riddick Bowe thing, stop that, man. Stop. Like, there's only one Riddick Bowe. He ain't fighting like that on the inside. He ain't as fluid as Bowe. Stop. Just stop. Stop it, man. It's not even disrespectful. It's not even disrespectful to Anderson. It's more so like, bro, Riddick Bowe is literally like you can make the argument he's the top 3 to 5 most skilled heavyweight ever. He ain't that. That he is not. Stop the Riddick Bowe comparisons. Because I'm gonna tell you this. When Riddick Bowe, if this Riddick Bowe shit continues with Jared Anderson, I'm gonna start to not like Jared Anderson just because of that alone. Because it's ridiculous. Ghost says, BT, I tried to get in touch with Team Hrgovic when he got turned down. Shaw will take that fight any day, anytime. We need to get him on here so you can see what type of time he's really on and ask about him. All right, we'll get him on here, and you can ask him that yourself. And I'll be more than happy to ask him that my damn self. Don't believe what I say. Ask about him. Ask Ruiz, Wallin, or anyone from Team Waller. Okay, I'll start doing it. Hrgovic would turn down a rematch with Zhang. And would you blame him? I wouldn't blame him. Shit. Zhang is no joke. And not just that, he had to wait so long and went through so much bullshit just to get the IBF mandatory spot. I think he's just going to wait it out or wait for a big fight to come across his table. So I'm not going to blame him. I would like to see it. That would probably be one of the best fights in the heavyweight division. Yeah, like, thank you, Ghost. Thank you. Riddick Bowe was 50 times better than Jared Anderson. He was on another level. And I'll even go as far as to say this. Jared Anderson can develop all he wants. Riddick Bowe is also 30 times better than Jared Anderson could ever dream of being. And that's facts. Straight up. These guys, and Dandada, shout out to him, he says, these guys are prisoners of the moment. They all they think all these up and comers are Hall of Famers before they do anything like Boots. Well, we don't even know. We don't even know about what will become of Boots. Boots looks like he has all the tools to be a great fighter, multiple division world champion, all that good stuff. But, boxing fans in general are just prisoners of the moment. Guy has a bad performance. They say he sucks. Then when a guy doesn't want to have a competitive fight, because if he wins a competitive fight but doesn't look his best, you guys say he's trash. Then you wonder why these guys duck so much. That's what I'm saying. I think that version of Zhang would have beat a lot of guys. I think Zhang could beat at least 4 or 5 guys in the top 15. Like, y'all talking about Zhang like Zhang's just some bum. Everyone fears Andrade says, well, you might have to change your name now to Everyone Fears Andrade but Johnny Beck. But why has no one brought up the WBO putting in a stipulation that the winner of the Parker fight can be ordered to fight the interim champ from another sanctioning body? Because everybody's worried about Andrade ducking Johnny Beck. It's a good point. I hope he can beat Zach Parker so he can get his shot, because I'm sick and tired of Andrade not getting the big fights. But then I'm also sick and tired of Andrade ducking Johnny Beck. So whatever happens, happens. I don't really care. He said, nope, I won't do it. You should. Just for brand accuracy, you should. That's just my opinion. But BT, would you fight Sean to tell them? Of course. South Florida don't duck from nobody. We don't duck from no smoke. Of course. BT, why I don't like Anderson is because of those Bull comparisons. I'm biased because I grew up around Bull, but even if that weren't the case, come on. Yeah, like Errol Spence came out on Twitter. He started saying that bullshit, which gives me another reason to want Crawford to knock him the hell out when they fight. But he said that. Now you got the media running with it. No, stop. Just stop. Stop it. Daniel Dubois is not the next Riddick Bowe. Jared Anderson is not the next Riddick Bowe. There's no motherfucker in the heavyweight division right now who is the next Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe, in terms of talent and skills, is on his whole planet. He's on his whole planet. He's up there with some of the best heavyweights that ever lived. And Jared Anderson ain't there. Boo Boo versus Benavidez, who do you got? Again, I'm picking Andrade against pretty much everybody but Johnny Beck because he don't want to fight him, and I think he saw something he don't like. But far as Benavidez, I would slightly favor Boo Boo, but I just think as well, I think Benavidez, if he can make 168 comfortably, he will be a problem for Boo Boo in the back half of the fight. So it all comes down to, how good are Andrade's legs and could they handle the pressure of Benavidez? But I would say Andrade could win a fight against him, close decision, something like that. But it's your boy BT, the untouchable, True School Sports Empire. We here, talking about the Jay Electronica of boxing, Demetrius Andrade. That's what I'm going to refer to him as that. That's his new nickname, the Jay Electronica of boxing. And that's not an outright diss. Jay Electronica is a great rapper. He just never realized his potential, Bo is an all-time great. He was in the top 3 of the best eras of heavyweights. Bo wasn't getting touched up by random bums. Yeah, man. Absolutely. Look, I guess maybe I might have a slightly better appreciation for Riddick Bowe than most people because back when he used to be at the Heavyweight Factory, I used to go train there sometimes. And Riddick Bowe would actually wrap my hands and he would show me some things, and he kind of taught me a lot about boxing as far as actual fighting. So I know what kind of boxing brain he has just by how he's taught me. So I know Riddick Bowe is not only one of the best heavyweights that ever lived, but one of the smartest heavyweights that ever lived and one of the most talented heavyweights that ever lived. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Never getting touched up by no random guys. When he fought them guys that's a whole nother discussion for another live. I don't want to talk about that. But anyway, boxing has been in the bad state for years, BT. That's why you almost gave him the sport. That's true. You're making a great point. Let's not be so damn short-sighted. You're right. There's a reason why just last June, I damn near got the hell out the sport. You're right. Boxing's fucked up, man. It really is. But we're here for the long haul. We're here for the sport and to cover it. BT, people underestimate Bo's IQ. Even today, I call him often to get his advice on how my guys should approach certain fights. He is one of the most. He really is. He really is one of the most intelligent boxing minds I've ever had a chance to talk boxing with. And I've talked with I've had conversations with Larry Holmes, him, Vladimir Klitschko, Sugar Hill. Some of the smartest people you can meet in boxing, and he's up there. He really is up there. So, shout out to Riddick Bowe. Let me see. Riddick Bowe had hard fights with Tyrell Big 27 before Holyfield. He ducked Lennox Lewis. Man, we're not talking about that, man. That shit was basically I don't want to get into it because I don't think he ducked Lennox Lewis. Straight up, I don't think he ducked him. Frank Maloney didn't want the damn fight. And that's facts. You can go look it up. Demetrius ducked Johnny Beck. He did duck Johnny Beck. Unfortunately, he did. Unfortunately. Chris Cobra F the World says, dang, we got Chris Cobra on a live. We got prime time. Man, Chris, prime time. Shouldn't you be preparing for Frank Martin? Come on, man. Should be worried about fighting Frank Martin. My man Ryan over here, he's making some bold claim. He said Callum Smith will beat the shit out of Andrade. Now that's where I draw the line. That's where I draw the line. I know we're saying. I know we've been saying some crazy. I know we've been saying things about Johnny. No, absolutely not. Callum Smith would get fucking iced by Demetrius Andrade. Hell no. Don't get me wrong. He's doing good with Buddy McGirt. He's got 2 nice knockout victories against pillow-fisted fighters like Mateo Badalique and Lennon Castillo. I give him his credit. He's starting to actually fight to his 6'3" frame. But absolutely not. No way. No way. Ghost says, Bo didn't fight the famous heavyweights with names. He ducked Lennox, in my opinion. Evander Holyfield wasn't famous? Because last time I checked, Evander Holyfield was one of the most famous guys out of everybody. I think Riddick would have beat Lennox. If they would have fought in 92, because Lennox was still kind of raw in 92. He wasn't the Emmanuel Stewart Lennox yet. I feel like Bo would have iced Lennox Lewis in 92. Just beat him soundly. Because Frank Bruno damn near beat Lennox soundly. I like that fight. I would love. I mean, it's the ultimate. That fight is the ultimate what if in boxing history. I think they're both great fighters. Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis, 2 of the greatest heavyweights that ever lived. But look, guys. On that note, I'm not trying to make this a long, drawn out live because I am trying to get to the gym today. So I'm going to end this live in 5 to 10 minutes. So just any questions you guys got, just fire them off. If you have any super chats, drop them off because I'm getting off in 10 minutes. ABT, did you see the Paul Spadafora footage from the Hall of Fame? Spadafora and Delonte West still need help. No, I didn't get a chance to see it. I'm going to assume he looked bad. If you're comparing him to Delonte West, who I also know has problems, I'm going to assume he looked bad. Last I heard of Paul Spadafora, I should say, he's training. He actually still trains to stay in shape. He still trains. He trains to stay in shape at the DLX boxing gym. I want to actually meet him at some point because he's a fighter that I think is a fantastic fighter, and I have a lot of respect for his skills and what he did in the sport. Buddy McGirt's been Johnny Beck's trainer for his last maybe 6 or 7 fights. And Buddy loves Johnny Beck. Buddy McGirt swears up and down Johnny Beck's one of the top guys he's ever trained. Damn, how long are you going to be at the gym for working? I thought they closed at 9. No, the gym I go to closed at 11. So, I'll have a solid 2 hours to get it in, stay lean and mean, because I'm going to LA for this fight with Andy Ruiz on Sunday. So I got to make sure I stay nice and slim and trim because you just never know. We might be in LA and we might just meet our future baby mother at the fight. So we got to make sure we're all right. He says, "What do you be working on in the gym?" Well, I'm not going to the boxing. When I say the gym, I'm not going to the boxing gym. I'm going to the going to LA Fitness. Today I'm doing some cardio. Gonna do some biceps. and, get it in. Try to work up a good sweat because I haven't gone in like a day or two. So I really want to work up a good sweat today. Man, it seems like Riddick Bowe was Terrence Crawford to you too. No, Riddick Bowe is like, if you think I hype up Terrence Crawford, it's like a whole other level of Riddick Bowe. You see this wall? I got Riddick Bowe on this wall like 2 times, and he used to be on this wall like 4 times. But I moved them off. I moved 2 of the Bowe magazines off the wall because I wanted to have more diversity of fighters. But like, no, Riddick Bowe is like for me Terrence Crawford times 100. Like as far as like how highly I rate him. Do you think they will announce the fight on the Andy Ruiz fight? That's really when they announce the fight. That would, to me, be like one of the best times to announce it. It's a card in LA, big market, heavyweight fight, big venue. I don't see why they wouldn't. Definitely should, but I truthfully don't know when they're going to announce it. I just know it's done. What do you think of Landolfo Delgado and Raul Cordial? As far as Landolfo Delgado, I still have to watch Landolfo's last fight against the 24-0. 23 knockout Mexican he gets beat. But Landolfo Delgado, good fighter, strong fighter, good power, looks really to be a prospect to watch at 140, a guy that can really make some waves and be a legitimate contender. As far as Raul Cordial, I've only seen one fight of Raul Cordial, and that was last December when I was in San Antonio for the Zoro Uniesca Gonzalez fight, and he knocked out Kendo Tremendo Castaneda. Now, when he knocked out Kendo Castaneda, it really wasn't looked at to be a big deal at that time because Kendo Castaneda had lost like 3 or 4 fights in a row going into that fight. But nobody had stopped Kendo Castaneda in the last 3 or 4 fights that he had. And Kendo Castaneda has, since then, he knocked out Sonny Fredrickson. He just beat that Dominican dude in the semifinal of the Pro Box Last Chance tournament. And now he's in the final against Antonio Moran. So that win has actually aged very well for Raul Cordial. Good fighter. I would like to see Golden Boy get him a step up at some point soon. I'm thinking like his next 1 to 2 fights, I would like to see him against Blair Cobbs. That'd be a good fight, but a good fighter. Let me see. Keyshawn Richard's funny. He says Keyshawn Davis versus Mark Castro, aka Elon Musk. Are they on a collision course or not? I would. No, I don't think so because. I don't know because I'm not sure what's in the minds of these promoters. They're not with the same promotional company. Mark is with Matchroom. Keyshawn is with Top Rank. I think Bob would make the fight. I don't know if Eddie would make the fight because Eddie's trying to get one of these USA prospects to pan out, and that'd be a tough fight for Mark, even though he beat Keyshawn in the amateurs. Right now, I would say no, but I would have ruled it out for down the line. But right now, no, I would say no. Hyro says, I can't wait till they feed Kayaguchi to Bam Rodriguez. That heart's gonna get you. Oh yeah. I know you hate Hiroto Kayaguchi. You're a freaking Kayaguchi hater. Tito versus Keyshawn Davis, the fight that needs to happen. I got Tito by KO in 4. Okay, Ernesto Tito Mercado. That's the guy you keep talking up. I gotta look into him. I had Ring Magazine with the cover story of Holyfield Bowl one that I had both fighters signed at the weigh-in at the Mirage. So that's history. That's big time history right there. That's my favorite fight of all time. That's like the fight that I've watched more than any other fight in boxing. Like it was literally 3 years before I was born. It was 92. I was born 95. But that one never gets old. That to me that fight is like what boxing is all about. Ruiz versus Ortiz on a Sunday. Yes, it's on a Sunday. I'm actually going to be there for the fight. I'm flying. I'm actually flying into LA Saturday afternoon. I'll be in LA Saturday afternoon. I'm going, and I'll be there Sunday night for the fight. So it'll be interesting to go to a big time heavyweight fight on a Sunday. So anybody here who's in the LA area, if you want to meet up at the fights, get in touch with me on Instagram, Twitter, email me, do something, and I'd love to meet some of you guys. BT, I'll send you some tape on him and some other guys on IG later on. I got a few for you to check out when you got time. They are, and he said it in the capital letter. He said they're cold. Okay, I'll definitely finally get around to Arian Lopez because I know you've been beating the drum for Arian Lopez. So I'll definitely make that a point to check him out finally. But on that note, guys, look, I've said what I needed to say. I love Demetrius Andrade. He's still one of my favorite fighters, but he is, in fact, the Jay Electronica of boxing. There's no other two ways about it. So, we'll see how it goes, but he ducked Johnny Beck, and that's the reality I got to live with and y'all got to live with. So we'll talk more about this and more later on. I'm not going live tomorrow or the day after because I just I'm going to take 2 days to kind of just mentally rest, but there's going to be other videos coming out on the channel, so stay on the lookout for those. Keep supporting the channel. We just hit 45,000 subscribers. I think we can hit 50,000 before the end of the year. So, tell a friend to tell a friend about the home of boxing, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. You guys take care. God bless. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.